my fellow smug ones, well I guess Barclays must have hired Mr. Bean. Let's begin. Okay, this story is from The Sun and it says, Handyman, who's 54, renovated his home after Barclays wrongly told him £110,000 was his and he is ordered to pay it back. And can you imagine just how utterly peed off he must have been? Although admittedly, if you found a large amount of money in your bank account, the likelihood of them actually letting you keep it would probably be very slim, wouldn't it? Anyway, Russell Alexander was surprised when huge sums of money, up to £50,000 at a time, started popping up in his bank account. The handyman from Sutton in Norfolk immediately queried it with Barclays, and after getting no reply, he was eventually told the money was his from an inheritance and was his to keep. And you know what? I've heard about a very similar thing happening before. And at the time, the bank, whichever one it was, said that if the money had been mistakenly paid into your account by someone, then you're apparently under no obligation to pay it back. Now, granted, that's obviously might be the decent thing to do, especially if it was someone like an old lady trying to transfer the money to her son. But either way, if that is the rule, then I can understand why he probably must have thought that all of his Christmases have come at once, especially as the bank told him that he could keep it. But it does make me wonder though, do you think that the bank would have let him keep it if it was only £1,000 or £2,000? You know, I more than likely bet they would have done. Although obviously £110,000 is quite a different thing altogether, isn't it? Anyway, he used the other money from his separation to buy a £237,500 doer-upper, new home, expecting to use his new windfall to fund his expensive repairs. But 9 months later, after the cash started hitting his account, Barclays realised their mistake and took it all back, including an extra £6,000 of Mr. Russell's cash. And that must have been even more of a giant massive kick to the gentleman's sausage for him, mustn't it? I mean, can you imagine it? Oh, hello, Mr. Russell. Oops, afraid we made a mistake. We'll take that back, thank you very much. And while we're at it, we'll take that £6,000 too. And more than likely it wasn't like that, but we'll never know, will we? Anyway, he blames the bank and said he's been left living in a semi-derelict home with no heating and no funds to renovate it. Barclays had admitted the money was transferred by another sender in error, and Russell was incorrectly advised that he could keep the funds. Shocked, Russell said, "I'm totally outraged at their offer of £500 compensation." Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm guessing that was probably actually quite stressful for him. You know, being told by a company who you expect to stand by what they say, that yes, of course, you can keep the money in your account. And then 9 months later, they come and take it all away from him. Plus, £6,000 of your own money. So to be honest, I'm not surprised he isn't happy. Anyway, a spokesman from Barclays said, "We're very sorry to hear about this customer's experience. It is evident that the sender of the funds had selected the incorrect intended recipient from their payee list when completing the online payment instructions. There's a verification page displayed to allow the customers to check their details entered online are valid and correct before processing to confirm the payment is made." And to be honest, this is exactly why it's a good idea to do some sort of test transaction with something like £1, and that way this whole thing probably could have been avoided, couldn't it? Anyway, unfortunately, when the recipient sought to clarify regarding the unexpected funds being received in his account, he was incorrectly advised that he could keep the funds. Subsequently, the funds were removed from the account following a claim from the original sender. However, due to our error, an additional £6,000 above the intended sum received was incorrectly removed, and this will be returned to our customer together with any lost interest. Although, to be honest, I've got a feeling he might actually be their customer for much longer, because to be honest, there's just no excuse for this, is there? YouTube's algorithm thinks you'd like to see one of these videos next, so let me know if it's right.